Now, speaking of climate policy, a familiar and predictable, emotive and misleading debate about climate change is playing out in the US now in California. We foreshadowed this a couple of weeks back when we spoke to Michael Schellenberger in California, and I'll catch up with him again tomorrow, because the fires have been getting even worse. They're having a shocking bushfire season in California, much like New South Wales and parts of Victoria and South Australia had last summer here. Like Australia, these fires are extreme but not unprecedented, tragic but not unheard of. And the same lethal cocktail is at play, where the normal bushfire threat is made worse by seasonal drought and also by the build-up of forest fuel loads close to settled areas. It's already sparked the same debate we've had about fuel reduction and land management in this country, which is what the President in the US wants to focus on.
There has to be good, strong forest management, which I've been talking about for 3 years with the state. So hopefully they'll start doing that. When trees fall down after a short period of time, about 18 months, they become very dry. They become really like a matchstick. When you have years of leaves, dried leaves on the ground, it just sets it up. It's really a fuel for a fire.
But you've seen this movie before. The left are using this tragedy to push their climate change bandwagon, deliberately portraying an annual threat, a natural part of the landscape in that climate, into something they say is new and more horrific thanks to climate change. The Democrat state governor calls it a climate emergency. This is opportunistic and tiresome. It denies reality. It holds out false hope, of course, and it distracts people from adopting the measures that can work in the here and now. And, of course, it's driven by a particularly manic form of green left politics. Have a listen to Joe Biden.
Wildfires are burning the suburbs in the West. Floods are wiping out suburban neighborhoods in the Midwest. Hurricanes are imperiling suburban life along our coast. If we have 4 more years of Trump's climate denial, how many suburbs will be burned in wildfires? How many suburban neighborhoods will have been flooded out? How many suburbs will have been blown away in superstorms? If you give a climate arsonist 4 more years in the White House, why would anyone be surprised if we have more America ablaze? If you give a climate denier 4 more years in the White House, why would anyone be surprised when more of America is underwater?
A climate arsonist? This is maniacal stuff from Biden. This is the sort of language a Green senator used in this country. This is unhinged abuse. Next, he'll accuse Trump of colluding with Russia. Oh, I think we've been down that path. A climate arsonist? People have died. Many people have died. California always has summer bushfires. Like ours, its natural environment, its vegetation and therefore its wildlife is adapted to it and therefore dependent on it. This is a bad season and we grieve for people's losses, and they need to do more to protect property and lives, certainly like we do here. But if anyone thinks the way to do that is to change the climate, they've lost touch with reality and reason. I mean, you heard Joe Biden just then. He said you'll see more of this under Trump. In the next 4 years, if he's re-elected, you'll see more of this. He said you'll see more of America ablaze and more of America underwater. Let's hope the same bits that are ablaze are the ones that go underwater. That'll fix the problem. This is the idiotic level of the climate debate and the hateful level of the political debate in the US. Apparently, Donald Trump is responsible for a virus created in China and spread around the world, violence and vandalism in the streets of America carried out by people who, among other things, oppose him, bushfires in California, and hurricanes and flooding on the East Coast. Jeepers, that's some list for less than 1 term of power. The Democrats seem determined to make themselves too extreme, too nutty to vote for. They might want to give Bill Shorten a call.